I didn't recognize the voice. There we are. Excellent. Excellent, everybody. Okay. Is everybody with me? Mr. Rick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here,
Yeah, I'm
Judge.
here. Yeah, I am too.
I thought I had frozen again. That's why I wanted to make sure. Thank you all very much. Okay, I have to apologize first and foremost. It is about 1:13. I'm a little bit late on my afternoon docket, but we didn't finish our morning docket until about 15 till 1. So I apologize for the delay. I shoved a couple of tostadas in my mouth for lunch. So I apologize to you all for the delay this afternoon. It is 1:13 p.m. It is 6/18/2020. We are in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, the Texas Supreme Court has issued an order allowing the courts to hold hearings via Zoom and YouTube Live. If there is anyone participating here today in this Zoom hearing that objects to this process or objects to this proceeding, can you please verbalize it right now? Everybody, can you be put on mute? I'm getting a little bit of feedback. So everybody, please get on mute. Anybody that objects to this process, please verbalize it right now. Let the record reflect that there is no objection. I want the record to further reflect that present in this Zoom hearing is my court reporter, Ms. Becky Macias, as well as my court coordinator, Ms. Rebecca Gonzalez, as well as Rick Salazar, who is my bailiff. Now, no one please should record any portions of this proceeding either through Zoom or if those of you that are watching through YouTube Live, you can be held in contempt of court if you do record. The only official recording is the court reporter's record. I want everybody to realize that. In addition, if any of you attorneys want to utilize the chat option on the bottom in your options bar, please let me know, or the breakout room. Just ask for permission and I'll be more than happy to give you permission to do so. Now, with those instructions, with those disclaimers, is there anyone present in this Zoom hearing that objects to this process or objects to proceeding with this process? Let the record reflect there is no objection. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with the first one. Oh, what page are we on, you guys? We're on page 3.
Page 3.
Very good. The first one is Clemente Galvez. That's Mr. Anthony Gonzalez. Court calls cause number 2019-3262. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state. Your Honor, stage ready.
Good afternoon, Judge Anthony Gonzalez on behalf of Mr. Galvez.
Very good. So is Mr. Galvez participating? Do you know Mr. Gonzalez?
Your Honor, he's incarcerated.
Oh, he's incarcerated.
He's at the annex.
Okay, so do you
Yes,
waive
ma'am.
his appearance here this afternoon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Okay,
We would-
Mr. Nunez, can you tell me what the offer is in this case, please?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer in this case is a 10 TDC.
Hello? Did
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Nunez?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Nunez, you froze.
10 TDC, Your Honor. That's the recommendation.
Oh, that's what I thought I heard, but I thought maybe probated for a number of years. I missed. Right,
Judge, I
Mr.
was hoping
Gonzalez?
he would say that.
I'm trying to
I was
help you
hoping he
out
would
here.
say it. I was waiting
Yeah.
too.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm trying to help you out here, and I heard the 10 TDC, but I was hoping probated for. Okay, Mr. Nunez, why is it such a high rec, Mr. Nunez? Tell me.
Just the offense, Your Honor. It's 2 CWs.
Okay. Is this his
And both
first?
CW, we've been in contact with both CWs and their mother. Is it? I'm sorry, to your question, Your Honor. What did you ask? I'm sorry.
Okay. Does he? I thought he maybe had an extensive criminal history.
I don't believe it's. I think he does have a criminal history, Your Honor. I don't think it's extensive though.
Okay.
I can't recall off the top of my head, but let me check on that.
Your Honor, last time we were here, we didn't have a rec yet, and Ivan Martinez recently called me with that recommendation. I'll let the court know that on Saturday, this coming Saturday, I've got several clients to see at the annex. Mr. Galvez will be one of them. At that time, I'll let him know what the recommendation is and immediately get back with the court, letting the court know what we're gonna do with that record,
Very good, sir.
if that's okay.
And you don't have any room to play on this one, Mr. Nunez, do you?
Not at this time, Your Honor. I do not.
Okay, I guess I'm asking that question because, gentlemen, I want to know, do you think another settlement conference may be fruitful? Or what are you thinking, Mr. Gonzalez?
I do, Judge, I do. After I talk to Mr. Galvez, I'm gonna come back with a counter offer and
Okay, very
we'll see
good.
what happens with that. Give me that opportunity, please.
Very good, sir. So you want me to set it up in a couple of weeks? 2 week settlement conference?
Please, Judge. That'd be
Settlement
great.
conference in 2 weeks, Ms. Becky, please. Anything else, Mr. Gonzalez?
Nothing, Judge. Thank you.
And we're frozen. There you are, Judge.
You're on mute, Judge.
Okay, I don't know what's going on over here. I think it's my internet. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rick. Okay. Mr. Nunez, is that as good as it's gonna get, right? For right now, if you're okay with 2 weeks settlement conference?
Yes, Your
we're
Honor.
done with Mr. Galvez, right? We're done with Mr. Galvez, right? Yes?
Yes, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state.
The next one is Stephanie Montaz. That's Mr. Ruben Ortiz. At this point, we're here for Mr. Ortiz, 2019, 5731, State of Texas versus Stephanie Montaz. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Yeah, for the defense, Curtis Cox in lieu of Ruben Ortiz. Defense is ready.
Very good. And Mr. Cox, is your client participating?
You know, I
Judge, she is up there. She is up there. iPhone. She's iPhone.
Yes,
okay.
I'm right here.
Let me
we
see you, Ms. Montaz. Talk to me, ma'am.
I'm right here, Judge.
Okay, there you are, Ms. Montaz. Thank you. That's right. You were one of the first ones I let in. Very good. Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you very much. Do you see and recognize Mr. Cox as your attorney in this case?
Yes,
Very
yes, I
well.
do,
Mr.
Judge.
Cox, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case as well?
I do.
Very well. Let the record reflect that. Both have identified each other. What is going on in Ms. Montaz's case?
Your Honor, I think this one is going to end up being a trial at this point. There was a third-party babysitter that was the person who actually left the child unattended. And
I think
So,
I remember this one from the previous settlement conference. Mr. Nunez, what are you thinking about that? There was a miscommunication or misunderstanding between.
Yes, Your
her
Honor.
and
The
babysitter?
misunderstanding that's, from what I understand, is that the defendant did leave the children with, I believe, it was a 17-year-old cousin. The cousin did state that she watched the kids until the defendant did tell her that she could leave now. So the third-party cousin did leave. However, you know, when the cops found out that, you know, the children were under, and they were trying to search and look for the defendant, they kept calling her and calling her and calling her, and that she would not answer her phone. Furthermore, that third-party witness does state that when she looked at the, when she realized that the defendant was calling her, that she would answer and she would clear the call right away. I believe from the police report, it's stating that the officers were basically asking her to call the cousin, and when she was calling the cousin and the cousin would answer, she would clear the call. And just out of speculation, my thought is just to tell, so that way she could tell, I can't get a
That
hold
way
of her.
she could what, Mr. Nunez?
I'm sorry?
That way she could what? Your
I
speculation is
total
what?
speculation, Your Honor, but my point of view from that part in the police report is just so she could say, I can't get a hold of my cousin right now. I can't get a hold of my cousin right now. Because the cousin says she was trying to answer, but the call kept being cleared by the defendant, basically hanging up on her.
By being cleared means hung up on, right? Is that what
Yes,
you mean
sir.
by cleared? Okay. 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 What do you think to that, Mr. Cox? What do
I'm
you-
going to hazard a guess that's straight out of the offense report, and they haven't actually talked to their witness yet, nor do they even know whether they can actually find that witness. So I'm going to hazard a guess that they don't even know whether they can prove this case if it went to trial tomorrow.
Have you been in recent communication with the complaining witness, Mr. Nunez?
The children, Your Honor? The abandonment
The babysitter.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, that's even if, I have not, Your Honor, but I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily, I have to bring her in.
Well, how are you going to know what she's going to testify to if you haven't talked to her yet? And without her testimony to what you just recited, how are you going to get it in? Because there is a recent case I reviewed just yesterday says you cannot have police testify to something a witness told them if it incriminates the defendant. It's a Crawford issue and you can't get past it.
Who says that that's my entire case, Mr. Cox? I'm just totally stating the facts that are in the police
I know.
report. I'm not trying to try the case here and
And
now.
my point is, you're not ready for trial. So you don't
Did I
even know
announce
whether
my-
you got a case or
At
not.
the dentist conference.
Yeah, this is a settlement conference, Mr. Nunez. Yeah, this is a settlement conference. And I guess the purpose of these settlement conferences are just to see how viable the case is, right? If
And-
okay.
And on that point, Your Honor, my point is, if they don't know what evidence they actually have available, how can they know whether the case is viable?
Yeah.
It
Judge,
is
I'm
the
sorry.
common practice of their office to try to get defendants to agree to things when they have never done the work necessary to know whether they could even get past a directed verdict at trial. And frankly, that borders on the unethical when you really boil it down to it. Under modern Texas ethical law, they have an ethical duty to know whether they can prove their case before they continue to proceed. Now, I know from my 13 years there, this office routinely violates that every day of the week. And it's not the fault of the frontline prosecutors, they're overworked. But nobody's
Overworked.
requiring a higher
Overworked and
standard.
underpaid, Mr. Nunez. You're overworked and underpaid.
Your Honor, I'm just answering the question that you posed regarding this case and
know.
the facts. And I'm just.
I understand that. I understand that, but you know, as we proceed in these, Rick, I'm gonna let an Angelina in, okay? Follow her,
Okay, I'll keep an eye out.
Angelina. As we go through these settlement conferences, I do want a little bit of investigation being done to see if you think the complaining witness is available or not available, or do they want to prosecute or not want to prosecute, and can you proceed without the complaining witness or not? You know, those sorts of issues I think need to be hashed out, and those are the issues that I want to be delved into so that we can try to move the case along short of trial, Mr. Nunez, because that's the only way we're going to be able to move these cases probably for a while. So you're saying you've not contacted the complaining witness in this?
Your Honor, the complaining witnesses are the children. It's an abandonment of.
Oh, I'm
baby.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So the
I
cousin
keep
had-
saying complaining witnesses. I apologize.
Yes,
That's my fault. I'm talking about the babysitter, the other
No,
person.
Your
that- Okay, so we don't even know if she's available or not available, right? So why don't we can we do that for the next settlement conference and see?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So I'll set this up for another, Mr. Nunez. How much time do you need to look to see if this?
2 weeks, Your Honor.
Very good. Okay, we'll do another settlement conference in a couple of weeks.
Good.
Any other issues we need to look into, Mr.?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. You all may be excused. Ms. Montaz, thank you so much. Please be safe out there.
You too. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your
Next,
Honor.
thank you, Mr. Cox. The next page is William Sanchez. That's Mr. Ben Ivy, cause number 2020-0207. William Sanchez, and that's on council, please.
So we'll begin with the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Ben Ivy for William Sanchez, ready, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Sanchez, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Your Honor. How you doing, ma'am?
I am wonderful, sir. Not as great as you, but I'm good. Mr. Sanchez, do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Ivy, as your attorney on the screen?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Yes.
Very good. And Mr. Ivy, do you see and recognize Mr. Sanchez as your client and as the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
Very good. Let the record reflect that both parties have identified each other. Mr. Nunez, talk to me about this one, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation in this case is 10 years straight probation, family violence finding, 300 hours of community service, $100 to the family violence fund, anger management, family violence counseling, no offensive contact with CW in this case, Taylor Sanchez, screen for TAP, UABA, as well as a curfew.
Taylor Sanchez, is that an ex-wife or a present wife, or who is Miss Taylor Sanchez? Other-
The wife, Your Honor.
The wife? Okay. Are you still with Miss Taylor Sanchez, Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. And you guys are married?
Yes, ma'am, we are going on 8 years.
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. Okay, Mr. Ivy, what are you thinking about this one?
Judge, the last time we were here, we talked about my client would be willing to take a deferred, and that Mr. Nunez did not want to offer that. I think we would still do that. My client is probation eligible, so at this time, I think we just roll the dice in a trial.
What are you talking about? What do you say to that, Mr. Nunez?
I'm okay with that, Your Honor. I have pre-trial this complaining witness. I have pre-trial also her mother that was involved. I know that all the involved others are on board to prosecute this case. The visibles are pretty bad.
Are they?
I believe the indictment alleges 3 dates of offense, so 3 separate instances. So that said, Your Honor, I mean, if he wants to roll the dice, that's fine with me.
Okay, you want to roll the dice, Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
You're a risk taker. Okay, sir. You don't want to consider making a counter? Talk to your, you don't have to do it now, but talk to your client and see if he'll accept anything at all.
But yeah, okay. Obviously a lower amount of probation possibly. I was really wanting to get the deferred, but I'll talk to my client again and see where we're at.
Okay. You won't consider deferred in this case, Mr. Nunez.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, sir. Okay. Now, gentlemen, I know we've visited this case maybe once or twice during this pandemic. Now we recognize the face. Do we need another settlement conference, or do we just put it on the jury docket? And if you can work something out, then
Judge, can you put me in the breakout room with Mr. Sanchez right now? Is that possible?
absolutely. Let's do that. That's cool. I like that. Let me get you first. Hang on. I thought I knew how to do it. Wait a minute.
And Your Honor,
Yes.
if I may, Mr. Sanchez also did pick up a BPO in this case, which
Yes.
was a decision of the PR bond
Miss
order.
Angelina, hang on. Miss Angelina, can you please put yourself on mute?
I did send a chat earlier. I haven't heard any response from her.
Miss Angelina, can you tell me who you are? Miss Angelina? Miss Angelina, can you tell me who you are? I'm going to remove you in 1 second. If you don't tell me who you are unmuted.
Judge, I have Angelina Lugo. I have Angie Lugo on our docket for Relas. She's Angelina Lugo.
Your Honor, I'm here.
Okay, ma'am. You need to get on mute because you're coming back with a lot of feedback, please.
Let me see.
You want me to mute you?
Whatever you need to do, Your Honor.
If you don't know how to do it, I have to find you and then I will mute you.
Let me see if I can do that. It's not mute.
There you go. I'm gonna. There you go. Okay, Mr. Ivy, I'm gonna put you and Mr. Sanchez, one room, create a room. Then I'm gonna put you, Mr. Ivy, you're going in 2 seconds. Let me find you. I think you're at the bottom of the list. Mr. Ivy is gone. And then what's Mr. Sanchez's name? William Sanchez, there he is.
Judge, this is Ruben Hernandez. I got an invite to go to a breakout room. I don't know if, I don't think you were sending that to me.
Thank you, sir. I sent it to
didn't,
the wrong
Your Honor.
person. Deny me. See what happened?
Judge, I don't know why.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor. I just
I
didn't.
just
Same
got
here,
it
Judge.
also, Judge, too.
I mean, I'm just getting the two of them.
Me too,
Okay.
Judge. Liz Fernando Chacon, you also got an invite for.
Everybody's going to the, I don't want any of you guys here. Everybody's going to the breakout room. Okay, I have to practice this. Let me, all breakout rooms will close in 27 seconds. Let me, oh, you know what happened. Okay. Let me. Mr. Ivy, are you in the breakout room? See, I put Mr. Ivy.
Mr. Ivy's on mute.
Oh, but I think he's in a breakout room.
Okay, I'm back.
I can't do anything. Okay, let me delete. Delete. Yes. Breakout rooms. Okay. Now, see what happens. Create room, one room. Oh, I know what I did now. I know what I did now. You have to create it manually. Assign.
Well, we already conference, Judge, so we're back. I don't know.
Oh, see, I did it. I didn't even know I did it. That's awesome. Okay, we're back on the record. That's beautiful. We're back on the record with Mr. William Sanchez. What are we going to do, Mr. Ivy?
We'd like a trial date, Judge, please.
Oh, my God. All that work and you're telling me a trial date?
We would take deferred, but yeah.
I was breaking out a sweat to put you in the breakout room and then you come back and tell me a trial. Okay,
I'm
sir.
sorry.
You know this is going to be a while, Mr. Ivy.
Absolutely, that's fine.
2 years, 3 years. Okay. Okay. Can everybody mute, please? Okay, this is going to be tried in a year or 2 years or whenever we all get together and can try a case. Okay, Mr. Ivy? We're not going to have any more settlement conferences in this case.
Okay, Judge.
Okay, thank you all. You may be excused. Have a great day, everybody. The next one is Kenneth Turner. Mr. Macias, Kenneth Turner, 2020-0320. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Good afternoon, Judge. Francisco Macias for Mr. Turner.
Thank you, sir. Is Mr. Turner participating in this Zoom hearing, Mr. Macias? Do you know?
I hope not.
Okay, sir. I don't see him. I don't think he's participating. Mr. Turner, are you out there?
Participating either. But Your Honor, I went to see him yesterday.
He's in jail, Judge.
He's
He
in
is in
jail,
jail.
Judge.
He's in jail.
Mr. Macias, hang on, sir. Mr. Macias, hang on. You waived Mr. Turner's appearance today for this hearing.
Your Honor, I'd so request to waive his presence.
Yes, sir. Now you can go ahead. Go. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
I talked to him yesterday, and I went over the competence report that was done by Ms. Rivera. And even though that Ms. Rivera finds my client competent, I'm not really satisfied with that.
Tell me
Because
why. What portions of the report cause you some concern?
he doesn't seem competent. Okay, he talks to himself. He seems like he's responding to internal stimuli. He was adamant that he didn't want the report to go to the judge and that he had told her that this report can't go to the judge. He's 53 years old. He was born in Ohio. He came down here as a teenager, and I'm just not satisfied that he's competent. And so I'm gonna put in a second motion for competency. If he doesn't come back competent, if he comes back competent, okay, I'll go along with the experts, but you know, I know he's not competent. And if he comes back and they're not competent, then we can have a competency trial. You know, as soon as he is competent and I'm satisfied that he's competent, this is going to result in a plea, Your Honor. This is not going to go to trial. But he's just not well right now. And the other thing about him is that he refuses to take any type of medication. And he tells me that over and over and over again. I'm not going to take any medication. He was on medication at one time there in the at the annex, and I have to investigate further. But you know, the minute we finished, I spent about an hour with him. I read the report to him, and he'd get really excited about some of the things that he would say, that's not true, you know, and this better not go to the judge, and you better not give this to the judge, you know. And he's just, I don't know why he's afraid that the judge, that you, the court, will order that he go on medication. That's what he's really scared about. And he doesn't want to go on medication. He doesn't feel that he needs it. And I can, you know, I can sympathize with that, that attitude. I have a son who's hyperactive, and he won't take his medication because he says it slows him down. And he doesn't want to slow down. He wants to run at 120 miles an hour. Okay, so, you know, maybe the medications that he got weren't agreeing with him, and that's why he's this way. But I would like to get a second opinion, Your Honor. And I talked to Ivan about it this morning, and he said that he was not, that he wouldn't object to this if I didn't feel comfortable with, you know, and I know Dr. Rivera, she's a wonderful doctor and everything. I just need to do a little bit more investigation and just feel that I'm not just, you know, putting him back out on the street when actually he needs to be on a mental caseload of some sort.
Okay, Mr. Castañeda, can you send me that doctor's report? I know it's probably under seal, but send it to me so I can read it, and not necessarily right now, but I do want it in my emails. Okay, the only issue we have right now, Mr. Macias, is, okay, the court's gonna have to pay for another expert. Because the court already paid for Dr. Rivera. All the other experts, I don't know if there's an expert out there that's reasonably priced as well, too. Can you help me in that regard, Mr. Macias? Let's see if we can find somebody that you can agree to that.
Some of the judges, I'm reasonably priced, so I can't.
I'm sorry? You came in and out, sir. Tell me again.
I said some of the judges don't think I'm reasonably priced, so I can't help you with that.
Okay.
You know, I don't.
Okay, then what I'll do is this. If you can't help me with that, then what I will do, I will put him on my jail docket. Before I spend any more of the taxpayer dollar, I want to make sure that there is a question, right? So I want to question him myself. So I will put him as soon as we can on my jail docket. All I have is 2 hours on Friday. I will ask him the questions regarding competency, and let's see what he says, and let's see what I see.
Okay.
Okay, does that sound fair enough?
That sounds fair enough. You know, we've always, as an expert witness, we always use Shooty. Nobody's ever complained about his fees, but I don't know if you want to use Shooty.
I think his fee is about 1,500 or 1,800.
He's a psychologist.
And we don't need a psychiatrist for competency?
Is Dr. Rivera a psychiatrist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I guess we would need a psychiatrist, but
and Shooty just does pretty much behavioral stuff, psychology stuff.
And yeah. Once you tell him that you're the judge and that you've read his report, okay, you're going to see his reaction.
Okay.
Okay. And if you speak to him for any length of time,
okay,
I think you're going to notice that, you know, there's something wrong there.
Something wrong. Okay.
So, and that's, I don't ask for a second opinion lightly.
No,
but
no, no,
I respect your opinion because I think you'll say, hey, what's going on here?
as well. Okay, Mr. Macias, thank you. Sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Be careful. You
No,
know,
go ahead. Go ahead. Give me advice. Tell me how to handle him.
I guess I'm gonna be there with them, with
Oh,
you.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes, yes, yes.
But, you know, make sure you have the robe like you do now.
Okay.
And make sure you tell them I am the judge in your case and I have read your report. And make clear that I didn't give you the report.
Right.
You requested the report through the proper channels. Make sure he understands that. And then
Well, he has to understand that it's a court-appointed expert, and the expert deals directly with me and sends it to me automatically because I paid for it.
But he made it clear, and it's not in the report to psychiatrist Rivera did not say anything in the report that he had told her, but he was very adamant to me. I told her that this couldn't go to the judge, you know, and I said, well, it has to go to the judge. No, it can't go to the judge. You're my attorney and you better not give it to the judge. I said, okay, fine. And then we went on and I read the entire report to him and I said, you've been found competent. And then I've talked to Ivan about it, but this is not going to go to a trial.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And I'll rely on your judgment.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
I'll have an opportunity to speak with him.
Sounds good.
Right. Thank you. And thank you for those bits of advice.
Yeah.
Judge, sorry to interrupt. Just to let you know, the competency report is not filed under our case. It's filed under the misdemeanor case.
Oh, the misdemeanor asked for it. Okay. Does the court of the misdemeanor court have to unseal it? No, because I've got a felony case, right?
Right.
Let me ask my supervisor, just because I don't want to touch a misdemeanor thing and then get in trouble for it. And then I'll let you know, Judge.
Has my case been hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Transferred to the 384th.
Right. Mr. Sam, there's not been a transfer back from the competency court to my court?
No, Judge, this case hasn't been transferred at all.
It was never transferred in your case, Your Honor. You understand what I did?
Miss Becky.
I asked for a competency hearing.
But they did it under the auspices of the misdemeanor case.
Yes, Judge.
They did under the auspices of the misdemeanor, but it was a district court that did that had the psychiatrist review him.
Because Judge Garcia is a district and he does the 384th competency, but he does misdemeanors and felonies. And Judge, this could be that it went under the misdemeanor and Priscilla didn't, probably didn't have a chance. They didn't send me an email to transfer it. It could have been done when it was a P-file case before it got indicted into my court.
That could be correct, Your Honor, because we asked for a competency hearing the first time we talked to him. So your case.
Becky, hang on, Mr. Macias, hang on. Becky, we lost the judge. You're on mute, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you. Between my internet today that I don't know what is going on and this barking dog next door is driving me crazy.
What may have happened, Judge, is that immediately when I was appointed to him, I went to see him when the misdemeanor was a P file. And so I asked that he be comped right away, and this case may not have existed because it happened in the jail.
Right, and that's okay. Yeah, Miss Becky, how can we, when we have a pending felony attached to a misdemeanor with a motion for competence, how do we get the report?
That I don't know, Judge, because I know when we would get it, say if it was me, I would usually make copies and send it to the attorney, but they would always file it in the misdemeanor cases that they do it and the felony. So I would just request it, because if it's under the misdemeanor, they're supposed to put a copy of it in all files plus the felony case.
Okay, Becky, can you call the competency court and see if we can get a copy of it?
Okay.
It's better coming from you than Sam, because Sam will have to break the seal of the court of the other court. So
Okay.
just call them up and see if they can send you a copy. I want to have a copy of it.
Okay, Judge, and I'm looking up so I can tell her which one it is. Okay.
And I agree with you,
I'm
I
sorry.
think you should read it before you talk to him.
Let me ask another question. How come I can't get it from you, Mr. Macias? You
Well,
can
I
email
was
it to
gonna
me.
suggest that, but I don't know if I can just, since you already told me not to give it to the judge, if I can do that anyway.
Okay, sir. I don't want you to do anything that may feel
I just
uncomfortable.
don't want to disturb the attorney-client relationship.
Okay, sir.
You know,
Okay.
say that I told you not to give it to him.
Okay, sir. I'll respect that. Yes, sir. Okay, so we'll get the report. We'll set it up for a Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning, sir. And then we'll just go from there.
But you do need to read the report, in my opinion, before you.
Okay, sir. Of
Okay.
course I will. Of
There's-
course. I read all the reports.
There's
all
some
the
things in there that'll just, pick up your antenna, in my.
Okay. Okay. I will do that.
All right, sounds
Okay,
good.
sir. Becky will send you notice for the next hearing. Anything else, Mr. Macias?
May I be excused?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Macias. Thank you, Mr. Nunez. Thank you. The next one is Mr. Ruben Hernandez's Anel Marin 2020 1064. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez is on mute.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, Judge, I'm sorry. I was trying to, I was talking with David on the chat room, and I got lost.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. Okay. Is Mr. Marin participating today?
Miss Marin.
Okay. Is she participating?
Yeah, she should be, Your Honor. I don't know if
Ms.
she's.
Anel Marin, are you present? I don't think I let her in unless she's an iPhone or a Anel Marin. I don't see her, Mr. Hernandez. You want to waive her presence?
Yes, Your Honor, if we could.
Mr. Rick, do you see her?
No, I don't, Judge. I don't have
I don't
any
either.
untitled phones on there.
Yeah, I don't either. So you're going to waive her appearance. I'll allow that. Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you, Honor.
Nunez, talk to us about this one.
Judge, I think we've worked it out. I had made a counter with David. That's what we're talking about right now. And I think this will be a plea, Judge. And
Okay.
it'll take care of this and her misdemeanor cases that she has pending.
What's the tentative plea agreement?
It'll be 3 years deferred, 200 hours of community service. And what was the other term, David?
Drug counseling, then just UABA and curfew. And then there's 4.
Drug counseling and UABA.
Yeah. And then dismiss the underlying POMs, Your Honor.
Dismiss 4 POMs?
I believe it is 4.
I believe so, Judge.
Very good. We'll set this up, Mr. Hernandez. I'm hoping we can do this mid-July, but I tried to already set up in-person pleas and they didn't allow me. In-person,
Okay.
non-custodial, non-custodial. And she's a non-custodial. So we'll set this up as soon as we can. I hope mid-July.
Okay, I don't mind doing a plea through Zoom. I've done it in other courts, so.
Well, the problem is the prints, getting the prints.
Oh, okay. They've been sending them to the probation office there on Campbell, no? That's how I've done.
I know, but I don't like to, I don't want to.
Okay,
Not that, yeah, no. I've not participated in that process.
okay. I prefer not to go to the courthouse myself, but I'll do
That's
whatever
what
the
I'm
court says.
saying. Why the heck are we risking the lives of the probation officers to move the judge's dockets? Why should the
I agree.
probation department have to
I
sit
agree.
there and deal with all the people coming in and out and out and out on all these pleas? I think the judges can calm down and wait until in person, everybody feels safe and they handle their own pleas. See, you already got me on my soapbox, Mr. Hernandez. Yes, no, I don't
I
think
hear
it's
you.
fair. I don't think it's fair to ask probation department to risk their lives and not be safe just to move one of my pleas. I'm not there. Right, Mr. Artemio Lopez? He's not there, or he's there.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, Mr. Hernandez. So yes, we'll do that in my courtroom. Our people will do it. My people are gonna do it. All of us are gonna do it because it's my docket, right? My defendant. So that's how we're gonna handle it, sir. So hopefully mid-July, we'll be able to do it.
Okay. Thank
Safely,
you, Judge.
social distancing. In my court, Mr. Hernandez, I have to tell you this, and I'm telling everybody on Zoom right now that Rick and I have marked, you know how everybody's courtroom looks like a crime scene now, right? With all the tape and all the do not enter and all of that. We have social distances. We have done social distancing in my courtroom every 15 feet. 15.
Okay, good.
Okay, sir. So I'm pretty afraid as well. So I think 15 feet, and that's what science says, and Dr. Fauci, he says 15 feet, you're safe. 6 to 10 feet, maybe not.
Right. I'll just use the stairs. My concern was the elevators. I didn't want to be in the elevators with anybody, but
Right. Well, they put X's in the elevators now where there's
no,
only,
I know, but I think they want to get 4 people in there, no?
they want to get, and nobody pays attention anyway.
Yeah. So,
There's 6 or 8 people I saw one time I was down there too.
yeah. So I'll just use the
Yeah,
stairs.
I agree. We'll get thin. We'll get skinny and use the stairs, Mr. Hernandez, until we stop.
You're already skinny, Your Honor.
That was the right thing to say, Mr. Hernandez. I like you. Okay. And so are you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You may
Thank
be
you, Judge.
excused. We'll give you notice.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, David.
Yes, Ms. Becky.
Is Mr. Macias still on? I just sent you the report on your email.
Okay, but I can't read it, Becky.
Oh, okay.
It's a 4 or 5 page. I'm not going to sit here and read it. And Mr. Macias already chastised me and told me I had to read every word of it. I can't do it. I'm not going to hold up my docket to read it. So good. I'm glad I
I
have.
didn't know if you were still doing the hearing or not.
No, Becky, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry, Judge.
That's okay. No worries. The next one is Oscar Zuniga, public defender. At this time, for cause number 2019-5370. Oscar Zuniga, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Bernie Vasquez with the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
And Mr. Zuniga is here, but he is on mute.
Mr. Zuniga. I'm looking because Mr. Zuniga has a PR issue, Mr.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know. Where's Mr. Zuniga?
He's still, there he is. He's off.
No, but he's unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Zuniga, there you go. How are you, Mr. Zuniga, today?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, sir. Can you sit somewhere?
Yes.
Quiet, please,
Yes,
sir, because you're getting me dizzy.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Vasquez, do you see and recognize Mr. Zuniga as your client and the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
And Mr. Zuniga, do you see and recognize Mr. Vasquez as your attorney in this case?
Of course, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let's see what they're telling me. I've not been able to, it's not bad.
Okay.
Calm down.
I can breathe again because I was like,
Yes.
oh.
Calm down. I've not been able to contact Mr. Zuniga since 6/16. 6/16, that was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
To remind him about his court on 6/18 at 1 p.m. Called attempts were made to remind him and to verify if he had stopped working at Applebee's and if he's been in contact with Aliviane, but they've been unable to reach him for 2 days. That's all. Ask me how you want to proceed. Mr. Zuniga, did you quit Applebee's, sir?
No, Your Honor, still have 2 days left. I did put my 2 weeks notice.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr.
yes.
Mr. Zuniga, how come they can't reach you? Did you change phones?
No, it's because you know what, Your Honor. I had an infection in my eye like this
Oh,
past 2 weeks,
okay.
and well, pretty much my money went to like medications and medicines for me, and only had like $40, and well, my pretty much my phone was disconnected on the I believe on Friday or
Okay.
Sunday midnight. So
Oh,
that explains
I
why I my phone.
okay, sir. But now you got it back now? Are
Yes,
you on
Your
your
Honor.
phone again? Good, good, sir. Okay, great. Great.
I did call Mr. Vasquez, I mean Hector, yesterday, Your Honor.
Good. Okay, he didn't tell me that, but good. Okay, I'm glad. So he has, and it's your same number, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so have you contacted Aliviane?
No, like I said, Your Honor, I did have an infection in my eye, so
Oh,
I didn't go to work for, like I said, like I still have like 2 days left because of my eye. I had to talk to my manager about like had to like let me go pretty much because of my infection. But now I'm better, and I did get to talk to him and stuff.
did he
But
let you go, or do you have 2 more days at Applebee's?
2 more days.
Okay, and you're
But
gonna work today?
what's that?
You're gonna work today?
No, I'm off actually today.
Okay.
Tomorrow's my last day.
I'm letting a Sandra in. Can you follow, please? Sandra?
Yes, I'll
Mr.
keep
Rick?
an eye out.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, Mr. Zuniga.
Your
Please.
Honor, if I may speak with you, I had of course I know you can say no, but I had a request because me and my manager had a serious conversation, and pretty much like what I'm gonna say is if I do find a job, because from my past previous, like last year, I really had hard time finding a job, and I don't know why, but I'm not saying that I won't be able to find a job, but if it comes to a point where I can't find a job, would it be okay if I go back? Or because honestly, like Applebee's has treated me so well, not only like the managers, but the people that I work with, they became like a family to me in a way. Like we all got, in a way, like I could say attached. I'm not lying, there's been points where I've been wanting to walk out, but just the people that I work with make me want to be there and work better. I actually did get my jacket for like a culinary jacket as a chef leader for cook leader, my bad, at Applebee's like a week ago, and that's when I told him about putting my 2 weeks notice, and I felt really bad because he gave me that jacket really happy, and it bothered me to see him like sad in a way. But I did tell him my situation. He understood, but he did want me to talk to you and see what I could do, at least so I could be back, or if I could go back or stay there with him, or because he really does approve of me and he really does like me as a cook. And he doesn't want. He told me personally he doesn't want to lose a good cook. And then, like I said, I understand your decision, and I am following your rules, and I'm just saying, and I will do everything right. Go to Aliviane, report, and everything. Like I said, I put my 2 weeks notice, but like I said, I really want to be there just because I am gonna get a raise, and because of my jacket, honestly.
Okay, sir. Let me remind you, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but this was the case where I asked him if he had a drug problem at the time, and then, no, I don't, and I told him about Applebee's. I don't like him working at Applebee's, and so then, no, don't worry, everything is good, and then he gets rearrested for drugs again while he's pending this case, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But the thing is that
Yeah,
it didn't.
hang on, sir. Hang on. Did
Oh,
you
I'm
get
sorry about
arrested at Applebee's? Was this an
that.
arrest at Applebee's?
No, it wasn't at Applebee's, Your Honor. It was a house away from Applebee's, actually.
Okay. Mr. Nunez? Do
Yes,
you
Your
know-
Honor.
You know the facts of his rearrest?
I'm just reading it. And we're talking about the 2020 case, correct, Your Honor? 1295?
Well,
Judge, the last case hasn't been filed yet. The one that happened in May 16, that's the last case, that's the last arrest. It hasn't been filed yet.
okay, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, Your Honor, I can still look into that.
Look and see that offense report. Do you know the facts of it, Mr. Vasquez, at all? They would happen at a.
No, Judge, no.
See, and I bet, Mr. Zuniga, I don't want you to answer this question. I don't want you to answer this question, but I'm going to tell you, okay? I will bet that half of your coworkers were there at that person's house where the drugs were found and where everybody was arrested.
No, Your Honor. Like I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, and those people were friends from high school, actually, and they were.
Let's not. Hold on, stop.
I'm getting uncomfortable.
Like
your attorney is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, just. I think he went off. Oscar?
We lost this video.
Whose video?
Oscar Zuniga.
Okay, he'll get back on then, I hope. Mr. Zuniga, let me see if I can ask to start video. I'm asking him to start video. Let's see if he does. Mr. Nunez, where are you?
Here, Your Honor. Can you?
I can't tell if you've frozen or not, sir. That's why I wanted movement or voice.
Got it. And I'm still reading the fact search. There's a couple co-defendants, so we just cipher through who's who.
Mr. Zuniga, are you back?
No, Mr. Zuniga's off now, totally.
Okay, we lost him. Mr.
And Judge, I think when it comes to any offers, I think we were just waiting to that case to be filed. Or I don't know if the state wants to decline it or not, and maybe we can work out on the other cases.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something that the state will like to do.
Maybe once he reads the offense report of this May 16th incident.
It looks like officers were dispatched on a suspicious subject call. Once they arrived at the location, they observed a female subject that was yelling and knocking on the front door of this home, and basically found all these people, I guess, around this home. They stopped stopped the defendant, including two other subjects, and through their investigation, they found a folded dollar bill in between a light pole and I guess the defendant himself. And that's the gist of it, Your Honor. And I'm trying to. That's basically it, Your Honor.
And because the defendant was close to the light pole, it was his?
And I'm reading as fast as I can, Your Honor, but I do have something here. Officer Garcia had advised Sergeant Hernandez to grab the plastic bag that defendant had dropped.
Does it say they saw him drop it?
Well, this is pertaining to actually the other defendant, Your Honor. It's a very long report, so I'm.
Oh, it's not this defendant? It's not Zuniga?
No, Your Honor, I thought it was, and I apologize. That's why I was reciting the facts.
That's okay. So how does Zuniga get involved in this thing?
He was there basically with this whole group of people at this home, and like I said, cops were dispatched to the subject disturbance, and people started basically scattering. So cops basically said, "Hey, come here." Started investigating. At least that's what I'm reading from the facts, Your Honor. And like I said, the cops sit down 3 subjects, one of them being the defendant on the ground, or on this curb, I should say. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to read what did they see him drop it? Was it just right next to him, arm's length, things like that?
How old is your client, Mr. Vasquez? Do you know?
Early 20s, Judge.
91 and 95. So he's about 24 years old.
Mm-hmm. And probably what happened in that case, I don't have the report with me, Judge, but most of the time, if they have a lot of co-defendants, they don't claim ownership on the drugs, they just charge everybody.
Right. If it's a rager at somebody's house and drugs are prevalent and all that stuff, then yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's see, Mr. Nunez can do some reading. Is Mr. Zuniga back? He's not back.
No, he probably lost, yeah, he lost it. Yeah, I don't see him.
My bigger issue right now, I think that may be a good case for you, Mr. Vasquez. Sounds like it's a fightable case, maybe. Unless he admitted to it. Once they sat him down on the curb. Yeah, no, those curb confessions.
Yeah, in custody.
Happen.
Consented to the search.
Monday? I'm sorry?
They always right. He consented to the search. It's like, okay, everybody is consensual. Everything is consensual.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. My bigger concern is Applebee's.
Judge, if he's working at the kitchen, he's not serving alcohol. He's getting promotion.
That's not the issue. The issue is the drugs that are prevalent at these sorts of places.
But Judge, under these circumstances, the economy is very tough right now. Having a job is almost a blessing, and now he gets, if he has to find another one, who knows when he's going to find another job. And I can tell that he's attached to this job. He's doing well.
He got a shirt.
He got a new, yeah, well, he got a promotion. That means a lot to him.
I know. Mr. Nunez, tell me what your findings.
Your Honor, they did not see him drop it itself. They just located it within arm's length of the defendant, Mr. Zuniga.
What was it? Cocaine?
Cocaine, Your Honor.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can work the other cases out and decline this one. I don't know if David will be inclined to do that.
Can you offer him a deal he can't refuse, Mr. Nunez?
I have one in mind, Your Honor. There is also a misdemeanor DWI. Now, the DWI itself, just throw it out there, Your Honor, and you know the alcohol in that level is below a 0.08. I believe it's at a 0.05. However, we do have, I guess, blood work showing that there was marijuana within the bloodstream. So we do, there's that out. That's the facts in the DWI. But what I will offer is DWI time served with 5 deferred as originally, as what's on portal right now for these 2 cases that we're on, and I will decline the P-file case.
I think, yeah, that was the deal that we had it in place before he got rearrested. I think that's going to work, Judge.
That's going to work because they're going to dismiss the PF file case.
Yeah.
You know what? Every time, what I'm hearing, this guy, poor guy, he's got substance issues. A DWI, marijuana in his system, cocaine at arm's length somewhere. He's got an addiction problem. He really has a drug problem and he doesn't realize it, or realizes it and doesn't want to do anything about it or something. So
Judge, you know what I think also that if he wants this job, maybe that's going to help him too, because he's going to be busy. If he doesn't have a job, he's going to be unemployed. He's going to probably go back to drugs. One way to just be away from drugs is just being busy and working and just succeeding in life. So I think the deal works, and probably we can set it for a plea, Judge. But I would like to allow him to keep this job.
Mr. Nunez, what do you say about him still working at Applebee's? With a DWI, with a marijuana in his system, blood draw, and then with cocaine at his arm's length in another case.
I know on one of the possessions, Your Honor, he was actually arrested not far from that Applebee's that he works at. Whether he was working at or not, I don't know. But I guess to say that he's doing well with all these cases he keeps picking up is not good. I'm a little hesitant. I hate to see him lose his job, but at the same time, I'm hesitant to allow him back. I'm kind of,
See, it's jobs are hard to come by, but you're putting a kid in a candy store. Because Applebee's turns into a bar, they close like at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's like putting a kid in a candy store. And I think what we're trying to do is protect him from himself so that he can succeed.
Well, my fear is that we're gonna set him for failure if he's unemployed.
Well, my fear is he still continues to work at Applebee's. He's going to get another DWI or another possession. So what's
Yeah.
worse? What's
Yeah.
worse?
I understand, Judge. Yeah.
I mean, it's between a rock and a hard place. And I think the best thing is to try to do is to get him not arrested again. Because this deal is not going to go through with another arrest. Right, Mr. Nunez? You know that, Mr. Vasquez. I know that.
I know. I know, Judge. I know.
Right? And I'm keeping him at Applebee's, alcohol is there. It kind of turns into a bar. All of that. I'm trying to take care of him, really.
I'll talk to him, Judge. We'll discuss the
rather see him
employment issue.
unemployed. Yeah,
Yes.
really, I'd rather see him unemployed than this deal yanked and he's looking at prison. Right?
Yes. Okay.
So explain that.
Yes, and we can set it for a plea, Judge.
Okay, and explain that to him, please. Okay, to plea. Yeah, because he never came back. Okay. Are we finished with this case? Anything else, Mr. Vasquez?
No, in this case, Judge.
Mr. Nunez, anything else?
no, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Vasquez, you have another one?
Yes, Judge. I have on page 7, Angel Aguilar, Judge.
On page 7. Angel Aguilar, court cause number 2019-7178. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
For the Vasquez for the defense, we're ready, Your Honor.
Very good. Is Mr. Hernandez present or Mr. Aguilar?
I'm here.
There you go.
There you are. Thank you, sir, for participating. Do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Vasquez, on the screen, Mr. Aguilar?
Yes, I saw him.
And do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case, Mr. Vasquez?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. What is the agreement, or I'm sorry, what is the plea offer?
Your Honor, the current plea offer on the table is 10 years straight probation, family violence finding, drug and alcohol counseling.
Finding and drug and alcohol. What are you thinking?
Well, Judge, my client doesn't have criminal history as far as I know. I think 10 straight is, I mean, we can get the same from the jury, Judge. I was thinking more on a defer. And I think a defer probation will work. But taking a 10 years straight at this point.
You care the same with the jury. Okay.
Yeah, I can get the same.
Mr. Nunez, what do you have to say about that? Can it go deferred? He's asking deferred.
I haven't had, this is actually a relatively new case for me, Your Honor. I'm not familiar with the facts in this case, and I haven't spoken with Mr. Vasquez on it either. I would.
Yeah, we haven't discussed it, Judge.
Okay, let's look into it. I'll give you more time to look into it and to discuss with each other. I'll set it up for one more settlement conference to see if you can work something.
Thank you. I would appreciate that.
Settlement conference in 30, 45 days.
That works out, Judge. Perfect.
Very good. Anything else, Mr. Vasquez, in this case?
No, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be excused. I think we're done with you, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. You may be excused.
Thank you.
Back on page 4, I am with Escandon, Mr. Parra, court cause numbers 2019-1561 and 2020-0309. Escandon, Jason Escandon, announcement, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Israel Parra on behalf of Mr. Escandon, we're ready, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Escandon participating in this Zoom?
No, Your Honor, he's in jail.
Okay, sir, so you waive his appearance.
We request so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Nunez, what are you offering in this case, sir?
Your Honor, it's 5 TDC and 2 years on a state jail, which is the 309 case, unauthorized use of the motor vehicle.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Parra, what are you thinking?
Well, I was going to counter with 1 year state jail on both cases.
Mr. Nunez, what are you thinking about that?
I'm not going to extend that, Your Honor. I believe the cruelty is a third degree, if I'm not mistaken. That's why it was written like that. But no, I'm stuck on the rec as is right now, Your Honor.
As is, okay. Okay, have you guys had an opportunity to kind of converse and kind of work
No,
it out?
Judge, it's kind of a bad case for the defense side.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I don't have a client that's very cooperative. The dogs in this situation was not his, so he takes no responsibility for whatever happened. So he thinks that the owner, which was his girlfriend, should be held responsible for what happened to the dog. I'll tell you that the facts of the case are ugly. But I mean, I don't blame the state for offering what they're offering.
Right.
But if I have a cooperative defendant, I'm going to have to set it for trial. I understand that he may have to sit there for a while. I really don't see jury trials coming back probably till possibly next year.
I agree. I agree, Mr. Potter.
The only other thing, Judge, is that apparently his mother was in California, and she called my office today. I did not speak to her directly. My secretary did. And she's requesting a PR bond. So I don't know if you want to set up for a hearing for the bond reduction. We have had this guy on bond before. And I, to be honest with you, I don't remember why his bond was revoked. Yes.
I don't have anything on Escandon.
It's been a case that has been transferred, Judge. I'm not sure why, but I do remember him being in the 168th and then in the 120th, and I attended those hearings, and then all of a sudden he was in your court. I'm not sure how that all happened. I haven't seen any paperwork regarding that, but I know that I've been to those courts before with him.
This gentleman. Okay, well, are you going to agree to some kind of a bond? First, can you agree to some kind of a bond, Mr. Nunez?
Not at this time, Your Honor. Not ready for that.
Okay.
Well, I'll contact Mr. Nunez to see if he can either consider it and then maybe talk to Mr. Martinez regarding it.
Right.
And then if we don't reach an agreement, we'll contact the court and then we'll set it up for a bond hearing. Okay, Judge.
Yes, sir.
So
Try to
if you
work it out yourselves.
if you guys get calls from the mother, you know why.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Understood. Do
Thank you so much, Judge.
Do you think we need one more settlement conference to try to work this out?
Probably not, Judge.
Okay, you're going to go to trial.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Very well. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Parra. Anything else?
Nothing
else from me, Judge.
Very well. You may be excused, Mr. Parra. Thank you very much. I'm letting the iPhone in, Mr. Rick. I think it was Mr. Zuniga. I'm thinking if it is,
Yeah,
we'll-
it's him. Yeah, it is him. It is him, Judge.
Mr. Zuniga, we're finished with your case, sir. Just contact your attorney. Thank you. You may be excused.
His audio is barely connecting. Just now he's on mute.
Mr. Zuniga, contact your attorney, please. Okay, we're done with your case. You may be excused. At this time, Josiah Lozano, court calls cause number 2017-6552, 2019-3090, 2019-6637, 2020-402. Announcement of council, please.
Your Honor, it's Aaron Settler for the state on 2019-0D06637.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor, on all the other cases.
Very good. Mr. Avelar? He's
I
not on.
don't see Mr. Avelar on there, Judge.
Oh my God, and I said all those cases, I thought he was on. I let him in. Okay, we'll get back to it. Never mind, we're not going to waste time. Mr. Zuniga? Mr. Zuniga, are you on?
He left. Mr. Zuniga already left.
Okay. Mr. Ruelas, Ernie Ruelas, that's Ms. Lugo, 2019-2790. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor, on Well, actually, I'm sorry. I should have let Mr. Self go first. I don't know what cause number he is, so I'll let him announce first.
Oh, we have two cases, 2019-5511, announcement of council.
Your Honor, it's Aaron Sitliff on 2020-0D0-1034. And then the rest, I believe David attended.
Oh my God, I didn't turn the page. Hang on. Thank you, Mr. Settler. Oh my God, I have 2019, 5753, 2020, 679, and 2020, 1034. Oh my God. Announcement of council now. You've already announced, Mr. Settler, and you're on the rest of the cases, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor. David Nunes for the state. For the rest.
Mr. Chacon, announce.
Fernando Chacon for the defendant, Your Honor, ready?
And Ms. Lugo is on mute, Judge.
Ms. Lugo, can you unmute, please?
Unmute. There I go.
There
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Angelina Lugo representing Mr. Duelas on 2019 0D0 2790 and 5753.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody has announced now. Mr. Setliff, Mr. Nunez, who's going to give the agreement? I mean, the plea offer.
I'm happy to offer it. I put it in all of the cases in portal. It's 8 years TDC. There are so many cases, including several misdemeanors. So so it's a complicated plea. Would you like me to go through it in detail?
Yeah. Yeah, but hang on a second. I forgot one thing. Mr. Chacon, is that Mr. Duelas that I see in the
Yes,
background?
Your Honor, right next to me.
Good. Okay, sir. Okay. So he's present. I just wanted the record to reflect that. Okay, yes. Let's go through this complicated plea, please. Complicated plea offer.
Yes, Judge. Dave Nunez and I have conferred, and we agree to offer 8 years TDC on 2020 0D0 1034, concurrent with 2020 0D00 679, and also concurrent with count 1 of 2019 0D0 2790. We would agree to dismiss count 2 of that cause number that I just mentioned. We would agree to dismiss 2019 0D0 5753. We would agree to dismiss 2019 0D0 5511. We would further agree to dismiss a series of misdemeanor offenses, and I can list the cause numbers for you, except for one that was a further evading that we would ask for county jail time of the max. It's a Class A misdemeanor. Would you like me to go through the misdemeanor cause numbers?
No, all the misdemeanors are going to be dismissed except the evading.
Yes, ma'am, and we would offer that for 2 weeks.
Okay, and that's a Class A. He'd have to plead to a Class A. Okay, Mr. Chacon first. What are you thinking about that offer?
Judge, my client is a very young man, very immature, but he's had a complicated life, personal life, and I think he's got some psychological problems. And he's got 3 children, and ages 1, 2, and 3. And I need to have him working, supporting these kids, Your Honor. And he's got a pretty good chance of getting a job. His mother's boyfriend works at a place where he's offered him a job, and they're seeing if that comes through. And I think he's a good candidate for probation. He's got several deals, but he's never been a violent man. No crimes of violence, and then every time he gets arrested, he's been beat up. Last time he got beat up, he was sent to the hospital, got medical records. He's already been paying for some of what he's done, Judge. And I don't think 8 years is fair. That will probably further criminalize him forever, ruin him. So I think he's got a chance for a deferred, Judge, and I would ask you to that would be my opinion, Judge. A deferred plea, give him a chance to clean himself up.
Ms. Lugo, what are you thinking about this offer?
Your Honor, I agree with Mr. Chacon. In fact, Mr. Chacon and of course, Mr. Duelas and myself have been talking. I've known this young man for quite some time, and I know that he does come from a family that has a lot of complex issues going on. It's been a difficult time for him to make adjustments in order to live a stable life. And granted, he has made a series of mistakes. I think a lot of them do stem from psychological problems. And I do think that if he were given an opportunity through probation, that the court could monitor him well and have an opportunity to make some good changes in this young man's life. And I think the court would happily see that he, at least right now, does have a support system through his grandfather and his grandmother, partially through his mother too. I think he's had a lot of absent parenting, and I don't mean to speak poorly of anyone, but I do think that there's been a lot of he hasn't had as much involvement directly through direct parenting as he could have. And I think that that's contributed a lot to a lot of stray thinking, a lot of poor formation in his thinking. So myself, I would prefer to try to continue to work on this case with Mr. Duelas and of course with Mr. Chacon, with the prosecutors, to see if we can come up to some other conclusion that would allow this young man to be on probation, however, whatever terms we have to put together for that.
Your Honor, may I say something else?
Of course.
I did a sketch of his family relationships, and he's got support of the grandfather on his father's side, the grandmother on her mother's side. The father has fathered children from 4 different women, and basically his father's been absent in his life, and he's been out of the house sometimes since he was 14 years old, living with, in one case, an older woman who was taking advantage of him. And he's got a very complicated life. I think he needs some real psychological help. And I think probation and the resources that the resources probation has will be beneficial to him. I think he does deserve a good chance, Judge.
Mr. Nunez or Mr. Setliff, anything you want to add to this or respond?
I can add just a little bit, but I've shared with you the facts of the case. We had a bond hearing pretty recently, and they were egregious. Drug dealing and gang membership and evading with vehicles on many separate occasions. And you made a decision about his bond at that time to raise it. So he has a great many problems. I can agree with Mr. Chacon and Ms. Lugo on that. But there's just so many cases where we're pretty far apart between deferred probation and ATDC. That's the challenge here.
Let me ask you this question, Mr. Setliff, Mr. Nunez. This young man is not out on a PR bond, is he? Is it just a surety or is it a PR component? Mr. Castañeda?
I think I oh.
What, Mr. Sam?
It's PR and surety components.
Yes, both. Okay, so he does have a PR component. His behavior on this PR bond, I did not get any notice. So obviously he's compliant, right?
Yes, Your Honor. He's been compliant with everything on PR.
Who said yes?
Chacon and Lugo did.
Oh, okay. So then what I'm saying is, does his compliant behavior have any impact on you, Mr. Nunez or Mr. Setliff, as far as possible probation is concerned? If he's compliant on a PR bond for a certain period of time, maybe?
on my part, Judge, I went through a timeline for his activities over the last, I believe, maybe 5 years or so. While he was out on bond, on PR bond in your court, he picked up cases on several occasions. So he's been in and out on surety bonds, MPR bonds on many occasions, evading the vehicles, all that stuff. He has not proven in the past to be good at it, but I think I can agree with Mr. Chacon and Ms. Lugo that he has reported when asked, but he keeps picking up new offenses and drug dealing in the meantime.
And Your Honor, I think that the matters, and of course, there's a lot more that we, for the confidentiality of Mr. Duelas and his family, and knowing that this is on YouTube, I'm not comfortable going into a lot of other facts at this time. But I think that as Mr. Chacon and Mr. Duelas and I have talked, that if the court would order a psychological evaluation, I think that the court would then have a lot more information to support the position that Mr. Chacon and I have, that, you know, there's a lot of family history that at this time is not appropriate to go into, but that it is important for the court to consider, and I believe also for the prosecutors to consider, to know that there's, you know, this is not an individual that 8 TDC comes after having served 2 TDC, and 2 TDC was not a deterrent. This is a young man that, quite frankly, there is a lot of information that cannot be disclosed at this time that should be considered, so that we can see that, you know, the policy of rehabilitating a young person, a young man like Mr. Duelas, is appropriate at this time, and putting supports and services through probation that the court has available to put a young man, help him rehabilitate and get back out to this, to be a contributing member of society, is appropriate in this case.
Ms. Lugo, are both of you appointed or retained?
I'm retained, Your Honor. Quite frankly, I took, you know, I was retained on the first set of cases. And then the court appointed Mr. Chacon when the family no longer had means to continue with retained counsel. So I'm continuing on the cases that I was retained for, and then Mr. Chacon and I will work together as Mr. Chacon has the remaining cases.
The reason I ask appointed or retained, because if you're asking for a psych eval, the courts pay for it. I wanted to see who was retained or who was appointed.
I'm sort of retained at this point.
You're going to have to prove to me he doesn't have the money to pay for it.
Sure, absolutely, Your Honor. We can do that.
Judge, the family's on food stamps. He's got 3 kids.
Yeah, but they paid for Ms. Lugo.
Well, not really, Your Honor. Not really, Your Honor. Not even my full fee has been paid, and in fact, that's why they could not retain my services on the new cases for which Mr. Chacon has been appointed.
I know, but the problem is he kept getting arrested and arrested and arrested. That was the problem. Or else we wouldn't laundry. He shouldn't have gotten arrested 5 or 6 times. But he got retained for 1 or 2. He could afford 1 or 2 criminal cases, maybe, or his family could. But then he gets arrested for 4 or 5 or 6 where he can't afford it. That's his problem. That's his doing. That's the problem. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to give you a psych eval, because we have a retained attorney in this case. Mr. Nunez, Mr. Setliff, you want me to give him a free psych eval?
And Your Honor, he also paid the $15,000 surety, so.
How much?
$15,000 surety component.
Okay, he's not totally indigent. They find money to get him out of jail. No, he's not getting a psych eval. Not going to give him a psych eval. He's paid a retained attorney. He paid 15 grand to get out of jail, and now he's claiming indigency. That's just not right. Not right. And then we have 5 offenses, and not minor offenses, manufacturing delivery. He's dealing drugs. Bad choice.
I respect the court's opinion. Your Honor, that case, I don't know who posted the bond, someone in his family that I'm not aware of. But let me find.
Get someone in his family to pay for the psych eval.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Find the money.
Absolutely.
You can find the money. He gets arrested 5 times, taxpayer dollars, not going to keep paying for his poor choices. Simple.
Sure.
Not the taxpayer of El Paso County's fault that he gets arrested 5 times, that he's making bad choices. So no.
We'll go ahead and Mr. Chacon and Mr. Duelas and I will get together, talk to the family, and we'll proceed from there.
Now, the only problem is, will a psych eval, even if it shows that, you know, he's got major psychological issues, Mr. Setliff, is that going to impact you? Because I don't want you to go through all that expense, and you can do it if you want. I can't really tell you defense attorneys what to do, but
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Setliff, I want you to know what the DA's office, and I want Mr. Ruelas, who's sitting right there, to hear it from the DA's. Are they going to even consider a psych eval where poor kid, he doesn't have any direction, he doesn't have any family, he doesn't have anything in his life, and that's why he went wayward and bad and wrong. Mr. Setliff?
Your Honor, I've conferred with Dave. We feel very comfortable with the plea offer that we've made at 8. The initial plea offer was 5 TDC. I cannot predict that a psych evaluation would not affect a decision, but he is in serious trouble. He has not taken it seriously while he's been out on bond in your court for some time now, nor previous cases that he's committed. So we're at a TDC place and we're pretty firm there. I don't want to speak for Dave because these are also his cases, but from my perspective, that's where we're at.
Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, I do concur in that assessment.
Okay, you guys. Mr. Chacon, Ms. Lugo, you know it may not have much impact, but you want to spend the money and do it? Oh, that's your job to decide. Yes.
What I'd like to do, Your Honor, is ask, have some time for Mr. Chacon and Mr. Duelas and I to get together, go over this thoroughly, meet with their family, lay out the pros and the cons of both options, because there's a plea rec on the table. Of course, we have the obligation to make sure that he understands that thoroughly. And he's there with Mr. Chacon. I know that Mr. Chacon has covered that. I've spoken with Mr. Duelas yesterday. In fact, we've talked about the rec that we had before the most recent arrest, when he was taken into custody there at court, and then afterwards. So I know that we have to make sure that, you know, there's a thorough understanding by Mr. Duelas of pursuing the option, and by his family too, of spending the money to pursue the option of a psych eval. I do think that there's some benefit to come from it myself, because I know a lot of Mr. Duelas's background.
Yes.
And I'd like to see if the court would give us the time to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. How much time do you need? And then we'll set up for another settlement conference.
You're on easy 45 days. I don't know if the court is comfortable with 60 days.
Yeah, how about do 60 days? This is a serious case. This is a serious case, and I want to give the defense every opportunity to develop whatever they need to develop, whatever rock they need to turn over to try to convince the DAs that this is a probation case. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Judge, I really don't think a psych evaluation or any evaluation would impact the DAs, but I think it would give you a further understanding into this person and his personal situation, his personal psychological situation, Judge.
Okay, but the sad thing is the DAs are the ones that drive this train, and so if they don't want to offer probation, I can't give this young man probation, even if that report tugs at my heartstrings, right? If I get lots of compassion for this young man, there's not much I can do to offer him probation if the DAs don't want to move off of a time wreck. But whatever you guys need to do, no worries. You might move the DAs. I mean, it might happen.
Right. Stranger things have happened. We're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. And I really, Mr. Setliff and Mr. Nunez are reasonable people. Mr. Martinez is another story. Mr. Setliff and Mr. Nunez are very reasonable people, and so you might move them too. You never know. Okay, 60 days. 60 days for a settlement. Okay, thank you guys. You all may be excused. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate that.
Thanks to everyone.
Yes. Mario Rodriguez. At this time, court calls cause number 2020.
Judge, I'm sorry. Mr. Chacon has another one.
Oh, Mr. Chacon, tell me which one is your next one, sir. Oh, there it is. Adrian Polanco. Let's take care of Adrian Polanco.
Oh, yeah. Adrian Polanco, of course.
You like him or what?
No, that's the one that they were going to get all the record to see if they did in fact offer the 5, and we got set on 5, and they couldn't remember. They developed amnesia, and we had to go to the court reporter. They were supposed to get the report and come back and give us the information. Nobody told me anything.
Hang on a second. Is the probation officer online here?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Sandra.
At this time, court calls cause numbers 2015-4314, 2015-5164, 2016-0701, 2020-1043. Announcement of council, please.
Your Honor, it's Aaron Sutler for the state on 2020 0D01043.
Fernando Chacon for the defense, Your Honor.
And Mr. Nunez, you're here for the rest of them, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and do we waive Mr. Chacon? Do we waive Mr. Polanco's presence?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, I remember this case, and the probation officer was the one that finally said, this is what I remember, this is what happened, this is what the offer was. I don't remember what the offer was, but I do remember this case. So
5 years, Your Honor.
Where are we now? 5 years to do?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Nunez, Mr. Setliff, what are we thinking?
Your
Hello?
Honor, my last
Is
recollection is
everybody frozen out there?
supposed to get the transcripts from, basically get the record on and review it. I know that Mr. Martinez did request it, but we still have not heard anything back regarding the transcripts.
That would be me, Judge. I'm a bit backlogged, but I do recall getting a request for a Polanco.
Okay. And Ms. Macias, have you gotten paid yet? I want you to get paid.
Not yet. I usually do the bill after because it's the state that's paying for it. And I usually do the transcript, and that's not the issue. It's just that I've been very backlogged. Even through Zoom, we've been getting requests for transcripts.
Oh my God, these attorneys get a grip.
And the civil cases too, so.
Oh, these attorneys need to get
But
a
I can look it up quickly. If they want the transcript, it might take me a little bit, but if I could just read through it, that's fine.
Oh, you want to read through it and come back and read through it? That would be quicker for you?
Well, not right now, because I mean, I have to pull it up
No, I know.
and scan everything on a different computer.
No, I know that. I know that.
But I can get back in touch with Mr. Martinez because he did send me an email.
Okay, this is what I want you to do, Ms. Macias. It's okay we go off the record so I can speak to the court reporter, Mr. Chacon and Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good. Ms. Macias,
call
Ivan, Mr. Martinez. Tell him that it would be much quicker, much faster, probably cheaper for him if we can just have another hearing where you will just read it.
Okay.
Right? Rather than transcribe it. Are you okay with a reading rather than a transcription, Mr. Chacon?
Yes, I'm fine with that, Judge.
And Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, because that would be quicker, right? And if he says yes, tell Becky, Ms. Macias, call Becky Gonzalez and tell her, and we can set up this thing quicker. If not,
Okay, sounds good.
If not, and Mr. Martinez wants a transcription, how much time do you think it'll take you? Another 30 days, 40 days, 60 days? How long, Ms. Macias? I know you guys are very busy.
Let's go with 30 days, Judge.
Give you enough time. Let's do 45.
Okay, 45.
Let's do 45. If he wants a Ms. Becky.
Yes, Judge.
I'm talking to Ms. Becky.
The other one. Okay.
Ms. Becky, if Mr. Martinez doesn't agree to an oral reading, then we're going to do a transcription in 45-day settlement conference. If he agrees to a reading, we can do the reading in about 2 weeks, right, Ms. Macias?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Is everybody on board with what we're going to do with Mr. Polanco, Mr. Chacon?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Sandra Alanis, right? We're good?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, everybody. I don't know. This is what I don't know. I have a dumb question. If we have a disinterested witness, we have Miss Sandra, who has really she doesn't have any really dog in the fight. It's not like you really like Polanco or anything, right? He's a likable guy, but it's not something that you would lie for. Why can't we just take her word for it, Mr. Nunez? Mr. Setliff?
Your Honor, there's like 3 different versions of the story. I think we all just want to find out what exactly happened at that hearing. It's not that we're just trying to discredit her questioning her credibility or anything like that.
Yes, you are.
Different.
Let me make it clear, Judge, we are not doing that. I appreciate Mr. Chacon's perspective. We are not doing that. Ivan specifically requested the transcript. He did it on May 14th, and we appreciate that Becky is super busy. And I think we'll be more than happy to hear what it says. I think that can happen quickly.
Okay.
For my own part, I'm fine with that on the case that I'm handling. So if she wants to read it back, we set up for a hearing. You don't need to call Ivan on that if that helps.
Okay, there it is. Let's see. Ms. Macias, let Miss Becky know, will you? Miss Rebecca Macias?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and you guys will get notice, whatever it is, 45 days or 2 weeks. Mr.
Thank you,
Chacon,
Judge.
anything else, Mr. Chacon, in this case?
Nothing, Your Honor.
And Ms. Alanis, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great day. Mr. Setliff, you're good too. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mario Rodriguez, 2020. Is anybody here for Mario Rodriguez?
Judge, that one I left on the docket just so you could see, because that was set by Diana, but it was only the one case. So I went back to, because we had already had a hearing and I was supposed to set it, I need to set it for a contested rebel in 45 days. But she had only set the one case and he has 4 cases.
Santibáñez, is everybody there for Santibáñez?
The same with that one, Judge. I put that I had to reset it because she set 1 case and he has 4 more cases. So I set that one for next week.
Okay. Christopher Macias. That's Monique Velarde. I think you're here still, right? Thank you.
I am, Your Honor.
Thank you. Patiently waiting. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
At this time, court calls cause number 2020-955, State of Texas versus Christopher Macias. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state. Your Honor, state is ready.
Monique Velarde for Mr. Macias. Defense is ready. Your Honor, my client is in jail, so we waive his presence at this time.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what offer do we have here?
You know what, Your Honor? There is currently no offer available. Fortunately,
Your Honor, if I may, we haven't even been arraigned on this case yet. I put in an entry back on May, I don't remember when, May 18th, I think. We hadn't heard anything. We kind of double checked and then we got a settlement conference. So I'm not sure how the court handles their arraignments, but by no fault of Mr. Nunez, it just kind of, we ended up in the settlement. This was our first hearing.
That's not how this court normally handles their cases. Ms. Becky, what happened in this case? Miss Rebecca. Rick, is she there? Miss Rebecca.
She's on mute, Judge.
I know, I tried to get her off. I told her to.
Okay, yes, Judge, I'm here.
What happened in this case?
On this one, I think this was one on the list that Diana got for a settlement conference, but she hadn't set it for arraignment, but she got that jail list that we're setting.
That didn't make any sense to me. Tell me again.
I'm thinking I set this. I don't know. Let me check.
It doesn't make any sense for Ms. Velarde to enter an appearance and then all of a sudden she gets a settlement conference notice and not an arraignment. Why hasn't it been arraigned?
Okay. I don't have an answer for that, Judge.
Okay, Becky, we're gonna have to figure out what happened.
Yes, yes, but I don't know where I got this, where I got the case and where I said it. I don't think Diana said it. I probably said it.
Ms. Velarde, when was the last time have we had any kind of hearing in this case at all?
No, ma'am. We had, like I said, I had put my appearance back in May. We hadn't heard anything, and I've been talking with Mr. Macias on other cases, and when we checked, that's when we had the order setting hearing, I believe on the 15th, which was what, on Monday, I suppose. So that was it. That's all we've had. That's why we weren't sure what was going on. It happens. You know, they're falling through some of the cases kind of fall through the cracks a little bit. So we weren't sure what was going on, but we just need to know how to do the arraignment. We can go from there.
Yes, Miss Becky, can you email Ms. Velarde all the arraignment papers so she can waive arraignment, please?
Yes, Judge.
We'll get that done today, Ms. Velarde. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you for your patience. Mr. Nunez, you don't have an offer yet because we're kind of doing this backwards. There's no rhyme or reason to what we're doing in this case.
I don't, Your Honor, but just a little side note, what's really weird is that I guess this defendant had a prior evading with a vehicle that it looks like he pled out on. And the date of offense on that case is the same date of offense as this one, which is
Yes.
weird how that the two different cause numbers, not count one, count two. It's a little weird, Your Honor.
Well, if that's the case, maybe at the time of the plea of the first offense, you wanted to dismiss this one, or it was going to run concurrent, or you didn't know about it.
I don't think so, Your Honor, because I mean,
I don't think this actually got indicted until March 11th of 2020. My client is incarcerated over other cases, and I believe including the one with the evading arrest. So when this one became indicted, like I said, it's kind of in the middle of everything of all this pandemic. So yeah, I'm not sure, David, what happened. It's a very strange case.
Maybe that's why we let it fall through the cracks as well. I don't know.
It happens.
But if he pled already to one, this was the same occurrence, same time.
That was in the 409th, Judge, too.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Not even in my part. Okay. Maybe you can make it concurrent. What happened in the 409th? Probation or time?
It appears so, Judge. I believe so.
I actually think he got time.
Okay.
If I understood, I believe he got time on that one. That's why it wasn't.
Correct. That's
not
correct.
That we're not trying to get rid of everything, but he's in jail right now for these. So we just weren't sure what was going on with this case.
So then, would you be willing to offer and would you be willing to accept the same plea out of the 409th run concurrent? No, Ms. Velarde?
This case is kind of funny, Judge. It took me a while to get through everything just to find my client's name on this particular situation. David, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. I went through all of the reports, and all of them are regarding the co-defendants, but I think late last night I found one document that mentioned my client's name. There's no question about the evading, believe me, none. That's why he took responsibility. This one is the one that's a little weird. So maybe when Mr. Nunez has some time to take a better look at it, we'll reapproach it. I'll send him an email, see if maybe we can't dismiss this at the, I want to dismissal, but let's see what he says.
To me, it could be dismissed. Dismiss it, Mr. Nunez.
Definitely take a look at the facts, and I agree with with that plan. We'll have some correspondence and see where we're at. See if we meet in the middle or see where
you guys correspond a bit. We're going to send you the arraignment so you can waive arraignment, Ms. Velarde, and then we're going to have another settlement conference in 30 days. I think this can be a fixed.
Hopefully we can take care of this before then with Mr. Nunez. We'll see what's going on, but definitely we'll take care of it one way or the other.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Velarde, for your patience.
Thank you.
You may be excused.
You as well. Thank you so much. Take care.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Mr. Ricardo Cordero. Is somebody here for Mr. Ricardo Cordero? There you are, Ms. Brown. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-7127, 2020-135, Ricardo Cordero. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Portia Brown on behalf of Ricardo Cordero. He's in the jail annex, Judge, so we're going to waive his appearance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Nunez, what's the deal here, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. The deal here is 18 TDC to run concurrent with together, both to run concurrent, Your Honor.
18 years TDC?
Yes, Your Honor. He is I believe habitualized. I requested the packets, but judging from his rap sheet, I know that there's 2 pen trips out from California.
Okay.
And was manufactured delivery, I believe, Your Honor. Assault with a firearm, as well as 2 other drug offenses.
Okay, Ms. Brown, you have your work cut out for you in this case. What are you thinking?
Well, first, Judge, good to see everyone. I haven't seen you in a while.
It's good to see. Yes, ma'am.
I love the hair, by the way.
Thank you. I finally got it done.
It looks good.
I finally got courage to go to the beauty salon. Thank you for noticing.
Judge, so me and Renee are working together. I took some of his overflow. And so I just got the case last week and I just met with Mr. Cordero. And of course, as I'm sure Mr. Nunez knows, we're gonna try to, I'm sure Mr. Cordero will be okay with taking something in the 5 to 10 range. 18 is just too much. I can definitely look at maybe doing a mitigation package. Ricardo, Mr. Cordero has mental health issues. He does have a troubled past, and I hope that it'll pull on the heartstrings, as you say, Judge, Mr. Nunez.
Okay, I'll give you an opportunity to do all of that, Ms. Brown. No worries.
Thank you, Judge.
I think we can set this up for another settlement conference. I think it would be possibly fruitful, right?
I think we have one already, Judge.
Oh, we do? When is it?
I believe it's not till August, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that's kind of a long way away. Well, not really. When you think about it, sheesh. Okay.
We can do another one next month because I actually want to request, Mr. Nunez, there's some jail calls that are used in the drug case, and I was wondering if you could upload those to DA Portal, please.
Absolutely. Are we set on that one right now? Is that one set for right now?
I think today is just the evading.
Okay. And the possession.
Yeah, there's evading and possession. He has other cases pending?
Yeah.
Another one, Judge.
Inside a correctional facility or something to that effect.
Oh my God.
I think we've lost Judge.
Yes, you did. What happened? You haven't lost me yet. Keep talking.
Yeah, he hasn't, this evading and as well as in engaging with possession, that's stemming out of an allegation at the jail annex. So I would need the jail calls on that case. And Judge, maybe we could set it for, if it's okay with Ms. Becky, if we could set it for a settlement next month, mid-month?
Yeah, let's do that. Miss Becky, let's do that, please.
Tell me again, Judge, I was on the phone.
Okay, settlement conference. And this one in 30 days. We have one in August, but let's do it within 30 days so we can see where we're at, please. Okay, Miss Becky. What else?
Nothing, Your Honor. I just have one other case, Judge.
Very good. Okay, you may be excused on that one. Your other one, is it Northrop?
Yes, Your Honor.
At this time, court calls cause number 2020-0255, State of Texas versus Elijah Northrop. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Ready?
Wait, Mr. Nunez, there's another one, 2020-1800. I don't like the format of these dockets, Miss Becky. 1800, announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Portia Brown on behalf of Elijah Northrop, and he is in the jail annex, Judge, so we're going to request to waive his presence.
Good, okay, thank you so much. Yes, granted. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what's happening with this case?
Your Honor, the most recent record that I have is 5 TDC with a family violence finding. Since then, he's picked up the assault on a public servant case, Your Honor, and the one ending in 1800, as well as a criminal mischief. I don't know if those happen inside, I'm assuming they happen inside the jail. But I'd like to take a look at those cases, Your Honor, before I submit the 5 TDC. I may just end up going 5 alter run concurrent.
But you want a little bit more. Okay,
yes,
that's fair enough. Let's do this. You want 30 days settlement conference on this one?
Actually, Judge, can we try something a little different? There was a motion for competency filed in this case. And so if the court wouldn't mind, I do think he's going to be found incompetent. If we could transfer it to the 384th, that would be great. Because I saw him yesterday, and Judge, it's really bad. It's really bad, yeah.
I'll trust you, Miss Brown. Mr. Nunez.
Judge Renee had told me that he was going to file them, but I didn't see them. So that's why I set it up for settlement conference. Okay. Oh, it is in one of the cases, 430.
He filed it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's file it in both of them. Let's get them filed in both, Miss Brown, please. And then let's—
You got it, Judge.
Mr. Nunez, we're going to transfer it to the 384th, okay?
Yes, sure.
Okay, very well. I'll take care of it for now, at least.
Yes,
Transfer, you're going to file a comp motion. Just make sure you filed it in the other one. Very well. Ms. Brown, anything else in this case?
No, Judge. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
You'll be safe too. Thank you, Ms. Brown. You may be excused. Okay, then the next one is Jonathan Quintana. That's Mr. Carmona. At this time, court calls cause number 2018-150, 409, and 690. State of Texas versus, oh wait, and 2018-4765, and 2019-1099. State of Texas versus Jonathan Quintana. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Cesar Lozano on behalf of Mr. Quintana, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lozano. Okay, Mr. Nunez, talk to me about this one.
I'm trying to find where the rec is, Your Honor. I know it's in one of these cause numbers, but I know we put it on the jacket. I want to say it's either 10 or 15 TDC. I can't remember, but I'm trying to look for it right now, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Lozano, do you know what the rec is or no?
I believe the last conversation that we had with the state, they were recommending, I believe, 10 TDC. But I believe that was just their initial recommendation. I'm not
quite sure about that. We
Right.
had a bond hearing, 1 or 2 bond hearings on this case, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
You remember, this guy has heavy duty mental issues, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I remember this case. This was the razor blade case. Did you know that, Mr. Lozano?
The razor blade.
He tried to swallow razor blades.
Oh, well, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, no. We have serious mental issues.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know if it was in jail or if it was outside. I would hope it would be outside of jail, that there's no razor blades in jail, but
Judge was in jail.
it was
It
in
was?
jail. Holy moly. Yeesh. Gets even worse, Mr. Lozano.
Wow.
Yeah, this case is pretty serious. The poor guy he needs a lot of help. He's not in good shape. What are we looking at?
Still looking for a judge. Is a jacket with either yourself or Sam, Your Honor?
Does one of the jackets have a plea offer, Mr. Sam?
Let me look through them, Judge, and I will let you all know.
Let's see.
And I'll check the dockets, Judge, okay? I still have them right here, so I could check to see what he gave, because it was when Tommy Carter was on there. I don't know if they gave the rec at the bond hearing that Mr. Carmona showed up on.
Mr. Quintana is in jail, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Did I ask you to waive his appearance because he's not present, Mr. Lozano? I don't remember if I did that.
We're moving to waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you. So moved. It's granted.
Thank you.
I see 10 years TDC.
10 years TDC. There it is, Mr. Nunez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, and I put this gentleman, I think, on a PR bond 2 times at least, Mr. Lozano, and he never complied.
Yes, Your Honor. We are prepared. We had spoken to him recently, and we are prepared to make a counter offer at 3 TDC, just given his issues. So we are prepared to make that offer today, Your Honor.
Offer. Mr. Nunez, what are you thinking about that?
I cannot extend that, Your Honor. I know he is habitualized, Your Honor. So there's that as well, playing into the set of cases, and it's a slew of cases, Your Honor, but he just keeps picking up. And I'm firm. I know we are firm at 10 TDC, Your Honor.
Okay. The slew of cases does indicate mental illness generally, right? So he does have serious mental issues. Okay, there you go, Mr. Lozano. You can try to contact Mr. Nunez, of course, to try to get him to change his mind. My question to you is, do you think it's fruitful if we have another settlement conference, or you think this is where it ends and I'll just set it for
Judge,
trial? If you guys are
I think I just don't think we're going to be able to settle it at 10. So if that's where it is, we may not need one, but I would like an opportunity to continue working with Mr. Nunez.
Of course, do that. I encourage you to do that, Mr. Lozano, but I don't want to waste your time or Mr. Nunez's time or my time. if it doesn't look like it's going to be able to be settled. What do you think, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, and just like I said, the fact that he is habitualized, I know 10 is a very gracious offer, and I know that's our rock bottom line. We will not go any lower.
I'm going to do this, Mr. Lozano. I'm going to say we're going to put this on the trial for trial because I don't think it can be settled. But if you think you need some help in trying to nudge Mr. Nunez in one way or another, right?
Yes,
If you're almost this close and you need a little bit of help and you think I can help you, call Miss Becky. You want a settlement conference and I'll be more than happy to give you another one. But I don't want to waste your time. So let's just put it on the trial docket. Okay, everybody?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Everybody good. Thank you. Y'all may be excused. Stay safe, Mr. Lozano. Thank you.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
Daniel.
That's until 4 o'clock, Judge. To probation status.
Oh, I forgot. We 4 o'clock and I haven't had lunch. Oh my God.
You still have Josiah Lozano where Daniel Avelar was not present, Judge?
Okay.
I left for like 10 minutes to DCR1.
Okay, sir, you're back again. Thank you very much. Let's call Josiah Lozano, 2017, 6552, 2019, 3690, 2019, 6637. Texas versus
Judge, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry?
There's noise going on. I couldn't hear you.
Who's the noise over there? You didn't get all 4 cases? Where did
No,
you?
the last 2. I didn't get the last. Judge, oh man. Hang on, Judge. I lost your picture, but I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am. I'm still here. Did everybody lose my picture or is Miss Becky the only one that lost my picture?
No, I see you.
Okay.
Okay, then it's just me, Judge. I didn't get the last 2 cause numbers, Judge.
Okay, the last 2 cause numbers on Josiah Lozano, 2019, 6637, 2020, 0402.
Thank you, Judge.
And thank you, Ms. Macias. Announcement of council.
Your Honor, David Nunez for the state on the cause number 2017 ODO 6552, 2019 ODO 3690, and 2020 ODO 0402. Mr. Setliff is here for the state as well in 2019 ODO 6637.
Mr. Setliff, are you there? Mr. Setliff. Okay, you can take over, Mr. Setliff. Maybe he just stepped out.
He's on mute. There he is.
Mr. Setliff, we're taking care of Josiah Lozano, and Mr. Nunez just announced for you on your case, okay?
Thank you.
And Mr. Avelar?
And Daniel Avelar for Josiah Lozano, Your Honor.
And do you waive Mr. Lozano's presence, or is he there?
I am asking for a waiver of presence, Judge. He is in custody.
Yes, sir. You got it. Granted.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Mr. Setliff or Mr. Nunez, who wants to tell me what you're offering?
I think Mr. Setliff is
The one driving this train?
I think so.
Mr. Setliff, are you driving this train?
I was actually going to defer to Mr. Nunez, but I can drive. Sorry for the.
Mr. Nunez, you want to take over?
Sorry, but yes, Your Honor, no problem. I'm just trying to get the rec on this one.
Okay.
It's definitely TDC time, Your Honor. I just want to make sure I get the number right.
Okay.
The time case, Judge.
It is a time case.
Yes,
Mr. Lozano has been in jail since about 11/19, Mr. Castañeda?
That.
Sorry, Judge, what did you say? What did you say?
When did Mr. Lozano get arrested?
In general, or just on any specific case?
No, why is he in jail? He got
Oh, okay.
The latest time, Mr. Castañeda.
Yes. Let me look that up.
his PR bond revoked. Yes, I'm
Right.
sorry. It wasn't that specific.
Judge, he did have a bond hearing already.
That's correct.
I remember
And
that.
I think he's been given bond, but hasn't made bond.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Becky. But I just want to know when he's been arrested for how much time credit he might have for Mr. Avila with his time wreck. Mr. Nunez, did you find it?
I apologize, Judge. I'm still looking. Mr. Sutler, do you remember what the time record was on this one?
I'm sorry, on my case, I'm following your initial recommendation, but there was, we've had a series of hearings, one were a couple of bonds, and based on the information that we shared with the judge, you did not move on the bond because of the information.
Wait, I'm trying to read between the lines, Mr. Setliff, and I'm not following.
I didn't understand that either, Your Honor.
I didn't either. I'm sorry, Mr. Setliff. I am so sorry, but we're kind of lost and we're kind of in the dark.
I think what he was referring to was we've had two bond hearings. One in the initial bond hearing was on the 409th when this whole mess began. We were trying to figure things out, how everything was going to work. And then we got it going through the orders and everything. And so we had our last bond hearing on or about March 31st. And so I take that back, May 8th. And so the court denied the bond reduction in the case ending in 6637. I think because the facts were pretty concerning to the court. His bond is at $100,000 cash or surety. And so now we are here on a status, Judge. I do think this is also, I do agree with the state, this is a time case. So the issue is just how much, if not, then we are seeking trial.
Okay. Is that what you were trying to tell me, Mr. Setliff?
Yes, Judge, you found out some information in the bond hearing that affected your decision, and that's why he's in jail, basically. And I don't know if you want to go into some of those details, but it had to do with an underage girl that is impregnated.
Oh, I remember this case now. That's, you have to give me, it's just one little bit of info and it jars my memory. Absolutely.
And Judge,
impregnated.
On my notes of the bond hearing, I have tampering, marijuana, split bond, 7 cases with 3 felonies. But and then underneath I put 21 years, maybe 19 or 20.
That was the time wreck?
No, the age of the girl he impregnated.
Okay, so that's
the age of the girl that he impregnated was not 20 or 21, Mr. Evans. He was 15 or 16 at the time of impregnation.
So there's two complaining witnesses, and then the state can correct me if I'm wrong. One was or is pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one was another situation where the allegation is choking, impeding the breath. But I'm waiting on a rec, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah,
my understanding, though, Judge and Dave, you can correct me, but I thought someone was investigating this issue with the underage girl at the Rape and Child Abuse Unit, and so a rec was not quite ripe yet.
Yes, Your Honor, and that is correct. The last time we had this hearing, you wanted to know where those cases were at. One of them is the indecency with a child, and the I can't remember the other one, Judge. Publishing intimate visual material. The child sex case, I know that one is being worked up. There's already a police report number. I got the ball rolling on that because whatever rec, can't for the life of me think of what it is right now, and I can't find it, Your Honor. But
well, maybe there isn't yet, like Mr. said.
Right now, Judge, there's no rec in my case on the 2019 0D03690. There is a 6-year rec from Mr. Sparsa, but it doesn't take into account the additional offenses. So we're at time. 6 was where we were at, but as I say, there's more cases coming.
It then sounds to me, Your Honor, that there is a likelihood of a new case coming, and not just any case. It sounds like a sex offense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then we should probably end this conference by saying that so far, aside from that sex case, that the recommendation is 6 TDC. But for that case, then it could change. Is that what I'm getting?
No, Your Honor, Mr. Avalo, because the 6 TDC was prior to some of these other cases being picked up, including on top of the fact the aggravated sexual assault of a child.
So then it's not 6 TDC.
No, because
Okay,
it like,
so,
just like
so then
Mr.
right now it's no rec.
Well, yes, I can't find it, so yes, I'm gonna put no rec, Your Honor.
Okay. No, that's good enough. Judge?
Yeah, it's no rec. Yeah,
Okay.
I can see why you need to kind
Sure.
of work up that sex case. Yeah. See why. So how much more time do you need,
Good question.
assistant district attorneys, to come up with a rec in this case? And I'll set it up for another settlement conference.
Your Honor, I believe we can probably have a package deal by the next setting.
When's the next setting?
That's the thing, yeah.
Because what I remember, Your Honor, also was that what we were going to do is, and I'm going from my thoughts on this case, my memory, is that we were going to plea him out, or we were offering to plea him out on these cases that are pending, and not go through with the following up with the two cases I just mentioned, the aggravated sexual assault of a child and the publishing intimate material. I do remember, but I remember that defense counsel still did not want to accept something like that. And that's why we that's why we got the ball rolling on these cases, because we knew they were there. We just hadn't told our detectives to start pushing forward on these allegations. Because one of these allegations, or actually both of these allegations, involve getting in contact with the CW and her stepmom and biological father over in Midland. So right now,
Mr. Nunez, I never recall the state saying in this case, you're not going to pay attention and you're not going to deal with a sexual assault, and here it is 6 years for you.
Right, that didn't come up at the bond hearing, as far as my memory.
No, you wouldn't do that, I don't think. Ignore a sexual assault case of a child.
Sure, your bond probably would have increased.
Yeah, I don't believe that was the case, that you offered him that deal.
I may have my facts on the cases mistaken, Your Honor, but I thought that that's what we did. But I mean, given the fact that there's no rec in these cases, aside from the one that Mr. Esparza put prior to him picking up the rest of them, then, you know, you're probably right. I mean, there's no rec. I mean, so I'm just trying to see, because I could have sworn there was one, Your Honor, but I do apologize. But I mean, that makes more sense.
Did I write a rec on any of my? Did I write a rec?
Let me check the files, Judge.
When was the bond hearing in this case?
It was on May 8th, Judge, and no rec, I don't think it was strictly a bond situation. Yeah.
Your Honor, then I apologize. I probably have my.
Which you know what, I'm not even salty about it. What I want to know is I need to know what to tell, not just my employer, but my client.
Right.
And so do I then say, okay, no rec because there's a possible new sex case? Then they're going to tell me, okay, well, what's the status of the new sex case? Do they need to investigate witnesses, complaining witnesses? What's going on?
I mean, at the end of the day, Your Honor, it's a pretty simple case. The allegation is he got her pregnant, or, you know, aggravated sexual assault. It's the accusation, but I mean, it's provable if you get the baby's DNA and conduct a search warrant or execute a search warrant for the defendant's DNA and just match them up together. So it's not terribly complicated. It's just probably going to be a little bit of a while before we get the DNA analysis back. But like I said, Your Honor, I have been.
The DNA analysis back, because didn't she have a baby?
Yes, Your Honor. That's what I'm saying, is just, I mean.
Well, based on the fact that she got somebody pregnant, I think there it is. There's the case. So I think you just need to give him a rec, including all of that. Just include everything, a package deal.
Yes, Your Honor. Can I confer with Mr. Setliff and come up with a package deal to be setting, Your Honor?
Absolutely. Can we set this up in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't mind that they talk about it, Judge. I just need to know what to write down is all.
Judge, the next setting on my case is July 15th. That's a little outside of the 2 weeks, but I think that might make sense.
I don't mind.
July 15th. There it is. Becky, we have July 15th settlement conference in this case. Keep it. Okay. Anything else? Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Avelar?
Just thank you. No, thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Sedler, Mr. Nunez. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Be
Appreciate
safe.
it. See y'all later. Stay safe, y'all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Okay, did we finish the docket, Mr. Rick, Miss Becky?
Yes.
Yes, Judge, it looks like it.
Let me get off of YouTube. Everybody be safe. Thank you very much.
Judge, may I bother you for one moment? Maybe either on the phone or something. I've come into knowledge about an investigation and reporting on KVIA about one of your defendants that is going to be booked pretty soon for a family violence offense. And I believe he's out on PR bond in your court. Do you want me to just highlight that or give you a police report number, or what would help?
Why don't you, can we talk about it on the phone, or can we talk about it after I get off of YouTube Live right now?
Oh, I apologize. I thought you were off. Yes, either way.
That's okay. Yeah. So just hang on. Let me get off. I'll hang on. Let's get off. Stop recording there.